Hey guys, welcome back to some more AFK Arena. As you can see, this is the new collaboration that is going to be coming. It was officially released over on YouTube or on Facebook yesterday. It is the collaboration. Now, a lot of people have been waiting for this collaboration in its entirety. This is one of the collaborations that got one of the most votes. And it's funny because even though now it has been officially released, a lot of players are still questioning and think that it is a joke, that it's not legit, that there is not going to be any crossover. Now, this is from Lilith itself, so it is official. They have released that it is going to be the crossover. Now, of course, we're going to be able to see these heroes pretty soon over on the test server, which of course comes up a little bit earlier than we see on the global servers because they run everything over there. We know also the patch is going to be including these two, and it should also include the rate increase that we see for the probability within the Stargazer and also within the Temple of Time. So a lot of players have been waiting for this. It's kind of crazy. I was watching the anime, and I have been, Wada, same as you, I've been watching the anime as well. Rimuru, very, very cool. And it's interesting how he got reincarnated as a slime. And of course, he is the primary hero that is around the story. So it is the Demon Lord Rimuru. As you know, if you started watching any of the series or if you've seen the anime, he actually takes, I think it's Veldora. He absorbs a dragon in the very beginning, which of course is just a massive one. The dragon's imprisoned for 3,000 years for burning down an entire town. And then of course, Rimuru is born as a slime. It's pretty interesting when they come up with it. Now, that's a question. Just what Sadid said. What are we thinking for the heroes? They are going to be dimensionals. They are going to be two-dimensional, love you. And it's really cool to see. Now, again, a lot of players are saying that Rimuru is going to be a mage. And they're also saying that the other hero, Shauna, which we'll look at in just a minute, is going to be a support hero. Now, looking at the skills and abilities that we've seen from other games, it seems like that is what it is going to be, that it's going to be the kind of the build-up. These are going to be released on 6/5, so that is June 5th. Depending on your time zone, depending on everything like that, it can change a little bit, but that means 4 more days is going up on global, so we should see it in the next day or two when we actually have the patch notes coming up. Now, most of these heroes, and I'm almost wondering, they might actually drop both of these heroes that should be on the test server possibly tonight. We've seen them up before the patch notes came out. We've seen a couple different things that they've done with the dimensional heroes. They haven't fundamentally kind of stayed with the regular iteration, where on the test server, patch notes would essentially be Tuesday. Wednesday would be the patch. Again, that's something that we're not going to see this time because we know it is 6/5, 4 days away, according to my time zone. So we know that's going to be a little bit different. Yeah, should be on June 5th again, depending on your time zone. So are they free? Technically, yes, they are free. As a free-to-play player, you can get both of them absolutely free, but you have to spend resources for them, which we'll look at in just a couple minutes. Then, of course, we're getting this one as well. It is the Miko Princess. This is Shauna. This is the second one. And again, a lot of players are saying, kind of based on their skills, some people are saying, I see Asta said Shauna should be a mage. I don't know if it's going to be a mage. Should we buy the dim gear? I would wait, Bob. And again, we'll talk about it a little bit. Yeah, because it is in-game currencies. So what I've seen before is we've seen it with Rem and Amelia. We've seen it with Joker and Queen. We've seen it with Ainz and Albedo. We had a lot of players that got burned out or really got screwed because they didn't have enough resources to get these heroes in their entirety because they were buying dimensional gear, because they were buying a lot of different things. What's going on, Liberta? Liberta said that he has a surprise for me, so let's see what it is. Yeah, that's what I think, Harris. I think it is going to be an intellect support. They might do like a different, I don't know if they're going to change it. Yeah, they have the name ability. Rimuru has the naming ability, which again is going to be pretty interesting. Now, of course, look at that. I like Liberta. Thank you very much. That is awesome. There is our super chat, guys. The first super chat that we have seen. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, if you haven't been here before, guys, we do this live stream every single week. That is awesome, Liberta. Big shout out. I like Liberta. And I know a lot of players, if you caught the video with the skins, Liberta and Lucila have a skin that you can buy that is coming up. And unfortunately, you can only buy them in conjunction, which I don't like. It really, really stinks that they are going to be in conjunction with the skins if you could get them or see them. So how far am I in the anime? I think right now, Harris, it's about 6 episodes that I am in as of right now. I'm not super far in the anime. I don't have a lot of time. Most of you know I have this channel. I have my finance channel. We're doing a lot with the different games. AFK Journey kind of seems to be falling off a lot. I don't know if it's something that I'm going to stick with, but it's pretty interesting. Yeah, it's pretty expensive. And again, thank you, Liberta, for that. Let's hop over and check out some of our AFK Arena. And we'll go through some of kind of what I'm talking about over here. So looking at the account itself. So this, of course, is the YouTube account. Now, to get the heroes, a lot of questions were, are they free? Now, the heroes are going to be free in their entirety, but with that being said, it is going to be resources that you have to use to go ahead and redeem them. So of course, looking in here, we're going to run through this. So when you think of the redemption of these heroes, we of course have our store. Haven't logged in here today, so I'm going to go ahead and do my quick buy, picking up, of course, my time emblem. We already know, and it has been kind of officially released, I believe on the Chinese servers, that the next awakened hero is going to be a Mauler, and it is going to be Entendre. Is going to be the next awakened one. Don't know exactly how the story is going to go with that, but that is going to be the next awakened hero. Now, when we start thinking of Rimuru and when we start thinking of Shauna, there are going to be 2 things that you really need to note. Number 1, the guild token. So these right here, your guild coins, you are going to have. And what's going on, Edgar? We got another new subscriber. So there is our first subscriber of the stream. We try to get 5 every time that we stream. But as you can see here, we have guild coins. Guild coins are one of the currencies that you're going to have to save to exchange them, which means when you're looking at Eugene, when you're looking at your time emblems, make sure you are holding enough guild coins before you hop in here and you buy all of this dimensional gear. Make sure you're holding enough guild coins to get the heroes if you are staying entirely free to play. Now, my assumption as it sits right now, that they are going to do it the same as any of the other dimensional hero releases that we have seen. So what I mean by that is if you're looking to buy one of the heroes, they usually have one that you can buy at a discounted price, which means it's $15 for one of the dimensional heroes. The other hero is usually $50 at full price, and you can go ahead and pick them up for $65. Now, of course, this is going to save you a lot of resources if you're buying them. A lot of players also choose to buy one of them. So they will buy one hero at a discounted price. The other one, they will just use their resources, which is very easy to manage the resources if you are only buying one of them, if you only have to exchange for one of them, because when it comes to the 2 exchanges, it can be incredibly hard. Now, looking at the barracks, this is the exact same, guys. When you look at your hero coins, you have to save your hero coins. And there we go, Ahmad. We have a subscriber number 2. That is 205. But like I was saying, with the hero coins, you have to save your hero coins as well. These come from summons. You want to make sure that you're getting these. Now, of course, we do have the Dreamy Garden up right now. This kind of goes the same thing. I only got lab coins. So, Bobo, one big thing to note is the majority, the bulk of the hero exchange does come from Labyrinth coins. Now, if you haven't been saving any of your coins, if you've literally been saving or spending everything, like a lot of players are, Lilith has said since the original release, and again, for some players like Alfredus who have been playing for a long time, when you look at the ability to get the heroes, this is very important, is yes, the waiting game, you have to wait your 53 days to get the heroes, but they have said that during the entirety, so during the 60-day window, when you can do the dimensional exchange, which we know is the last 7 days of that 60-day window, you will be guaranteed through regular gameplay to get enough resources to redeem for both heroes. Let me say that one more time. During and through regular gameplay, you're going to accumulate enough resources to get both of the heroes through regular play, which means if the heroes come out, let's say on June 5th, both the heroes are out, you can see they're available for the redemption. From that point to the 60-day window, you will get enough resources to get both of those heroes absolutely free, which again, a lot of players say, are they going to be free? Technically, they are free. However, you're going to have to redeem resources for them. So I guess not really free Again, free to play, of course, they are free, but using your resources to get them is going to be very, very imperative. And then, of course, the same with our Challenger store. You want to make sure you're saving these tokens because you're going to have to mix and match between all four of these, the Guild store, the Barracks, the Labyrinth, and also the Challenger stores to get these heroes in their entirety. Now, of course, a lot of players don't like the fact that you have to wait the 53 days, which is ultimately what they have always done. My thought to really get around this is giving you the ability to actually go in here and exchange, get the tokens in your bag. Now, again, this is something that I brought up to Lilith before, is when you look at some of the sharded characters, like when we have copies of Eugene, copies of Joan, all of those things, it is really, really important. And I wish they would let us do the exchange into our bag for both of the heroes. I wish they took both of the heroes and we could actually redeem them for shards in our bag. That way you don't actually have to carry all of the tokens until you get to the redemption period. It is kind of a pain in the butt. I spent 120k lab tokens and woke up next day to see double dims. Yeah, like I said, Bobo, if you don't have anything right now, you are going to be good. I've been searching for the dim mage boots all week, even done 200 diamonds. Just wait. Honestly, Mystic, when you get there, the gear doesn't make a big difference. That's one thing that I think a lot of players kind of overlook. When it comes to gear in AFK Arena, the difference between having like tier 3 gear and having specific tier 3 like dimensional gear, the difference is not that big. It is kind of irrelevant when you start looking at levels, when you start looking at the build of the heroes, even looking at our draconic heroes, the gear is almost irrelevant to a point. Now, also remember, they said there were going to be some changes to gear that are going to be coming up in the next patch. We're still waiting to see exactly what that looks like. And look at this, Ducky, 7 days away. This is what always, unfortunately, seems to happen. So we terminate the relationship. No new applicants as of right now. But again, there's going to be some changes that are going to be coming down with a couple different things. Making gear a lot more accessible, I think, is really the thought behind it. That way you can go ahead and build it. And again, looking at the gear difference between these heroes, it's not a game changer. If you have regular tier 3 gear, or if you have even here the tier 4 gear, not a really big game changer. Even if you're just building or have the regular tier 3 gear like I have right here, you're losing out on a little bit of stats. But again, when you think big picture with AFK Arena, you're not really losing a ton of stats overall. And are those little stats, honestly, on one hero out of, you have 5 teams, you have 7 teams, you have 9 teams, whatever it may be, is the stats going to make a big difference? Not really at all. That's the big reason why we say, the gear really isn't that important when it comes down to it. Even a lot of players don't bother with the gear. You can build it up a little by little, but overall, not a huge push. Now, of course, I popped the code up a little bit earlier. There's a code that gives you a little bit of resources out of here. But let's talk about the treasure scramble. So a lot of players were kind of wondering, when it comes to the treasure scramble, is it worth it at all to do the treasure scramble? The reason being the loot we get right here. Now, this is something that a lot of players have talked about. We got 6 baits, 144 poke coins, we got some cores, we got some shards, we got a little bit of stuff out of here. Now, these are everyday rewards. So every single day when we're coming in here, when we're coming in the treasure scramble, we are getting these rewards. These are not the rewards that we're worried about. These are not the ones by any means that we want to focus on when it comes to the treasure scramble. And again, a lot of comments that I get, treasure scramble is not worth it. The rewards we want to focus on since the season is over, this is where it comes in, which are these. We ended at 73. You can see, guys, we are getting time emblems. I mean, right there, 5 of those, that's 2,500. Right here, we are getting a ton of cores out of here, just out of this chest. We're getting some Stargazer scrolls. We're getting 3,400 diamonds, 130 there, 20 of our emblem chests. Then, of course, some more tier stones. This is the reason why we pushed the treasure scramble. Again, a lot of players were kind of saying that it wasn't worth it to do the treasure scramble. Guys, the season rewards are what we really care about because, again, when you look at the diamonds, when you look at the cores, when you look at the Stargazers, when you look at the time emblems, you are getting a ton of resources out of here to build up heroes. And you have to have these if you want to build up heroes at all, ever. You have to have these if you want the awakened heroes, if you want the Celestials and the Hippos. You have to build these out, and you have to build them out in a very, very regular fashion, which is the reason why I always say you have to focus on really building those out. Guys, Stargazer here. So it's going to be next patch. Yep, it should be next patch for the adjustment. We kind of talked about it before. When you look at the probability, this should be changing next patch. Now, I know there was a little kind of excerpt with the new Awakened Heroes. We are getting free Awakened Heroes. There's going to be a Hero Choice chest. That is going to be coming up. If you've seen my video over on the test server, we already pulled the chest. Now, again, thinking back to when we did this before, I believe you're guaranteed to get the chest if you get all 100 keys that are available in there. You're going to get the chest. I don't know anyone that didn't get it last time, but the probabilities of these heroes should change in the next patch. Now, of course, that is from the dev notes, the developer notes that they did give us, saying that they are going to change with the next patch. So we know it is coming pretty soon. Been watching your videos since I came back to the game after 12 months, change some pointers moving forward. So the big thing is the heroes, GT. When you think of the heroes, and again, when you look at like our tier list, I actually have to get the tier list together. I'll get it together tonight with kind of the updated, looking at a couple heroes that we're seeing a lot more utility, including this girl right here. That is right, Villain. We are seeing some utility out of her, being run in the Treasure Scramble, being run in the Curse Realm, a couple different places. We have actually started to see this hero, so I got to build out the gear. Gonna have to build her up a little bit further, but we have started seeing her in actually quite a bit of gameplay, which is pretty impressive. A lot of people do like how she is built. Now, of course, when it comes to tier list, guys, looking at the primary heroes in here, you have Libirda, you have Demia, you have Lavatune, you have Lucilla in here, you have the awakened version of Athelia, you have the awakened version of Shemira. If you're just coming back to the game, there's a lot of primary heroes that either you have to build yourself for multiple game modes, or if you can actually go into and borrow short term. I know a lot of players, I do borrow a lot of heroes out of here, but as you can see, if you can borrow them short term, you don't have to build them because there's a lot of game modes that they are going to be required in there. It is kind of crazy. Yeah, Halos not used a lot anymore. Am I the only one that is having the worst luck pulling highborn heroes? Bobo, it takes a lot. When it comes to our highborn heroes, it is taking an incredible amount of time to build them. And a lot of players, including myself, I am just building them slowly. That is really it. I am building them out slowly. We've said this before, that when it comes to building out the heroes, I got the two, or honestly, the one that I wanted. And I'll show you what I mean by that. So when we look at the heroes themselves, looking at our highborn heroes within our Draconis faction, I got Nyla. Now, Nyla, in my opinion, guys, is the only one of the primary three worth building. So when you look at Nyla, when you look at Cassius, when you look at Pulina, Nyla is the only one really worth building. Once you do build her up, you get her to 1-star, you get the engraving. There's no other reason to really build it. Honestly, at this point, these two are not being used anywhere, unfortunately. Now, looking at the highborn themselves, so looking at Hildwyn, looking at Gwen, we're seeing a lot more play out of Gwen in different game modes. We're seeing her used in a lot of different places. And of course, requiring a pretty big build out with Gwen because she is a damage dealer. Hildwyn, the same. We're seeing him used in Treasure Scramble teams. And ultimately, it's either you have Hildwyn or you don't. If players don't have Hildwyn built, he's being subbed in with a couple other heroes because, of course, being a mage, he is very defensive. He's very similar to what we see with Gavis. He is a very, very defensive hero. Doesn't do a lot of damage, even though he has an awesome dragon animation. Doesn't do an incredible amount of damage within the formations, meaning not a huge primary. Are they releasing the DIMS on the 5th of June to global or test? I would think global. And the reason being, they're not going to drop all of this hype over on Facebook, on Twitter, on Reddit, on everything else. They're not going to drop all this hype about a release. The June 5th should be the global release of both of the heroes, which is why I'm expecting either tonight we'll be having some videos to cover the new heroes, the 2 new dimensionals. It's going to be either tonight or tomorrow, Elvin, that we are going to see them up on the test server and really seeing exactly how they are played. Do you think Awakened Sophia is still worth to pull for? Yes, Death Power. The Awakened version of Sophia still does incredibly well. However, with that being said, I would kind of wait. So she is very good, but we know, again, it has been kind of released. The Awakened version of Entendre is coming, so I would wait to see exactly where she's being used and exactly what Entendre is going to bring to AFK Arena, which is going to be very, very cool. Again, we don't know if she's going to stay a warrior, if she's going to go a ranger, if they're going to go a different direction. We're going to have to see what Entendre is going to do. Now, with that being said, again, I would wait to see what they do with her right now, of course, because the rates are changing. Do not summon anyone. Save your resources. Make sure you see exactly what our two new dimensional heroes look like. We might have one that's really good, one that's not. They might both be just absolutely game-changing. They might be two broken heroes, kind of what we've seen with Rem and Amelia. And then, of course, it's going to be followed by the awakened version of Entendre. So essentially, we know what the next releases are going to look like at this point. Now, in addition, we also do have an awakened version of a Wilder hero, an awakened version of a Graveborn hero that is going to come in 2024. It is going to be regular. Do I have a streaming schedule? Normally, it is Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That is the normal time that I usually do stream. Kevin. That, again, is kind of regular. Today, the stream is at 10 a.m. So today, the stream is a little bit earlier. Last week, it was a little bit earlier. Reason behind that is my son does have a soccer game at 11:30. So I'm going to stream from 10 to 11 today. At 11, the stream will conclude. Then I have to get him to soccer by 11:30. We have a game at 11:30. So definitely a lot of scheduling changes. And I know we have swim, we have volleyball, we have catechism, we have soccer. There's a ton of stuff just kind of going around in real life, which again is always fun with the kids. Is there a tier list for the level 40 signature items? There is, Poppy, but it hasn't been updated in quite a while. Who do you think are the 5 beasts that are the priority build? So looking at our beasts, when you start looking at the 5 that are really the big build that are being used, Slumbering Seal absolutely being used, Talisman being used, the Owl being used, the Rock Lizard being used, even down here a little bit further, Ice Crown still being used, looking at Panda being used, even Eris still being used. We are also seeing Fox Fatale for the crowd control. Depends what game mode you're seeing them in which game mode they're being used. So there's still a lot of beasts that are being used. The primary, guys, is getting your beasts up to resonating 18. That honestly is the absolute game changer. When you get them up to 18, you unlock all of their skills and abilities. That is where you want to get them to. And essentially, if you're getting 5 of them built up to 18, yeah, Slumbering Seal, this is still the number 1. Out of everything that we have seen within AFK Arena, the Slumbering Seal is still being used everywhere because of the damage the seal can put out in different formations. We're seeing it in the stall team. We're seeing it in a lot of different places, including the campaign. The seal is still being used, again, in a lot of different places. Doesn't matter which hero you link the dimensional to. It does, Eric, in the fact of which hero you're using. Because, of course, they can't be used in the same formation. That's the big thing to remember. So even looking at some of my dimensional heroes and kind of who they're linked to, right there we're linked to Respin, linked to Verk, linked to Gwen, linked to Belinda, so linked right there to Namora. So even looking here, none of the heroes that I have them linked to do I use really in any formation. There's Solus, even Odin, and also if you have the keys. So the keys are the way to get around the linking. So when you actually go in the Temple of Time, there are links in here that have the dimensional key. With the dimensional key, you can use them together, and that is kind of the way that they kind of worked it around with the dimensional keys. Let's do some summons in here. Yeah, the seal is overpowered. Like you said, the Firecracker, the Owl, the Bird, yes. I need a carry hero. Should I build the awakened version of Athalia after increasing drop rates? Ali, I would, but I would pause it for a minute and see what Entendre looks like. That's really the big thing, is what does Entendre look like? What's the top priority? Do you usually spend money for? If so, what are you buying? So Louise, when it comes to purchases in AFK Arena, we'll run through this real quick. We'll do some summons. So when you look at AFK Arena, I budget $100 a month. That is the budget. So looking through here, and I know, of course, we're going to spend a little bit more because we have the 2 awakened heroes that are coming. I'm going to buy both of them so we can use them and test them. But when you start looking at what we purchase in AFK Arena, I buy both of the monthly cards. So this is something that I bought literally for years at this point. So right here, I spend $20 on the monthly cards. Noble Society, as you can see, I bought these out. $24.50 plus the $19.99, so $45 right here, plus the 20 brings us up to 65. Twisted Bounty, I buy the Poke Coins out of here. If you're not buying the Poke Coins, if you don't have Beast Resonance 18, get the Beast Resonance out of here. But this adds another 25, so that takes us to what, about $90? That's all we buy. We don't buy anything else. I don't buy any of the other packs. I don't buy anything with Riga Rewards. That's the $90. And again, we budget $100 in here every single time. Every single month we budget $100 here. And of course, my affiliation through AdSense with YouTube pays for my AFK Arena addiction, and of course some of the other games. But yeah, we budget $100 in here. That is what we're buying, and that is all that we buy. And again, when you think about big picture, those purchases are giving you access to literally everything you need in AFK Arena. Even here, this is giving us the ability to get some of the Awakened Heroes. This is also giving us red chests out of here. This is also giving us cores out of here. And then you couple it with the Noble Society, red chests and cores. Here's the Poke Coins. That's everything we need to build our heroes in their entirety, which means that we are stockading a ton of resources out of there, which is awesome. That's all that I buy. Now, what's the top priority outside of Liberta? So when you look at the plus 40 signature items, really the big ones that you want is the damage dealers. So when it comes to AFK Arena, it is very, very imperative that your damage dealers have the plus 40 signature items, because of course, when you start breaking them down, they are super reliant on stats. So it's not only the ability that they get right here for the plus 40, but it is the addition of the incredible amount of stats that they can pick up with getting the plus 40 signature item. So running through a couple of them, and again, you know, I have Rem at a 40. I have most of the priority heroes, including like the Awakened version of Shamira. We already have it a plus 40. Any of the primary, really SSS tier heroes that are damage dealers, I would prioritize. And again, looking at a couple in here, looking at Rem, looking at, you know, the Awakened version of Leica, the Awakened version of Belinda we have built out. Some of the really big damage dealers that we do have built out. And of course, looking at heroes like Liberta, super imperative that you do have those heroes built out. The Awakened version of Athelia, we have Liberta, we have Demia built out. A lot of them, again, very dependent on the stats with the damage that they're doing. And of course, a lot of players said, well, systematically looking at like a Liberta, getting a 30 to a 40 gives them about a couple million more damage. That's the difference between getting in the top 5% or the top 6%, is really min-maxing what is going on there. I got Rem to level 50. I would never do a 50. Guys, when you start looking at some of the heroes and when you think of the signature items, the cost goes up so insanely exponential to build these heroes out in their entirety. I do not recommend it, and I will not build anyone to a 50 because it is it's way too expensive. Which engraving do the stars start to shine? That is 80. So at engraving 80, and you'll see right here, we are at 80. Now, the only reason, and again, I don't usually take any heroes over like the 60 to 67 is a general rule. The only reason to take them a little bit further up to the 80 is the PvP aspect, the Endeavor aspect within the Arena of Heroes, Legends Champion Tournament, Legends, the LC Tournament, Treasure Scramble, Heroes of Espria. You do get some bonuses with this hero. That is the only reason to take them to the 80, is not only are you getting more stats, but you're also getting the big PvP whale aspect out of there. So if you want to be competitive in those game modes, you are going to have to absolutely build them up a lot higher, because again, that's going to be the competitive nature. Now, it looks like finally that we have our new one up. Now, I've been pushing the campaign. The reason I've been pushing this campaign, and as you can see right here, guys, we are getting epic Dragonspeak emblems. We're getting the regular Dragonspeak emblems. We are also getting the elemental cores. I've been saving all of this stuff up for the two heroes that are coming. So absolutely why I'm using them. Is it wise to signature item 40 to support like Lavatuna or Lucilla? You can. So a lot of players, Primo, that built up Lucilla up to the 40. So a lot of players did build her up to the 40. Doesn't have the impact with her that we've seen. That is one of the absolute problems when we've seen, and a lot of players, a lot of whales that built this hero up to a 40. Very disappointed with the increased damage in here. Lucilla is still not doing damage, especially when you get to higher level deficiencies. The buffs in here don't make a big difference, Primo. Now, I did build out Lavatoon. We did build out Lavatoon to a 40. In addition, I also did build out right here. I built Palmer to a 40. Yes, so you could absolutely build out a couple of the support heroes a little bit higher. And some of them, again, priority-wise, when you start looking, increased damage buff. That is right. This is pretty big for Palmer because you are increasing the damage that the rest of the team is going out. So again, to be competitive and exponentially have them put out more damage, you need some of these built. But again, I would prioritize the damage dealers first before I would prioritize building out any of the support heroes in there. What's going on, Kenny? Lucilla PvP comp is made crazy. Yeah, PvP is a whole different monster, guys. And of course, when you start looking at AFK Arena and you start looking at a lot of different game modes, even looking at the Curse Realm, the Nightmare Corridor, everything else, the PvP aspect is in itself almost an entirely different game. There are a lot to go into, essentially, and I have to do these. I actually have to do those today before the reset. I come in here, I usually do one or two attacks. I do a couple attacks. Sometimes I do all 10 attacks, which I think I did here to get the rewards. But I go in here and I usually do this about 25 times. It costs a little bit of diamonds, but if I have the chance to score once or twice a little bit better, I am all about it for essentially being able to go in there. Now, of course, with the two-dimensional heroes, guys, we are still sitting on 171,000 Poke Coins. That's right. It is insane the amount of Poke Coins that we are sitting on. And of course, looking at our wish list, we're going to drop, we have Tarnos in here, we have Villain in here, we still have a couple other heroes. We're going to continue dropping all of the new heroes that are coming in here. And I'm going to save the red cards in here to see. So when Rimuru comes out with Shona, I'm going to wait to see what Entendre looks like because I know we're going to get a lot of red cards, meaning that we're going to be able to build them essentially up to their max. So I've been dropping them in here. We've been building them out. We've been just saving. Probably by the time they're released, we might be sitting around 200,000 Poke Coins, which is crazy. Yes, Bobo, it is a ton in there. I got Rem to 50. Should I reset when I get the chance? I would, Henry. And again, when you think of exponentially taking a hero to a 40 to a 50, if you look at the signature item, you can take 3 other heroes from a 30 to a 40 for the same cost, Henry, that you can go from a 40 to a 50. So essentially, you can have 3 other heroes at a plus 40 signature item versus going in there and building one up to a 50, which again is one of the big reasons why, yes, exponentially, I will not build anyone up to a 50. Just like with the engraving, I'm not taking any heroes up to 100 engraving. The cost return is not there. Again, when you start thinking big picture with AFK Arena, the cost is not there. It's way too expensive to take heroes. And again, unless you're a whale, unless you're putting money into AFK Arena, go ahead and build them up to a 50 if you're dropping a lot of money in there. For most players, even small dolphins, and of course, guys, if you guys caught my video, I had to reset and really rebuild everything. That's why you're not seeing any of these checked, but I had to rebuild everything when it came to BlueStacks. I don't know what was going on with BlueStacks. It seemed like it was just all bugged out. I had to uninstall it. That's why a lot of this stuff isn't picked up here. But we'll go ahead. I want to do some summons because, of course, this is the new week. So we'll pick up 6 red chests in there. We'll pick up another 3 red chests right there. Boom, 3 of our time emblems. Then, of course, look at this. We have 14 chests. Again, Treasure Scramble is well worth it when it comes to the resources we're getting out of here. Again, we want some more cores. Now, for Rimuru, I'm going to build Rimuru up pretty high. I'm going to go for the plus 40. I'm going to go for higher furniture. I'm also going to go to the plus 80 engraving. That is what I already planned for the hero. So even looking at the resources that we've been saving for a considerable amount of time, we have been building up and we have been saving, because when we look at our bag, we have a lot. We have a lot right here. I'm sitting on 1,325 red chests. We are also sitting almost 14,000 elemental cores, which we know are going to build those out. There was a hero swap function a couple of weeks ago, and I used to swap my 5-star regular Sophia to Ivan. Is it permanent? Yes, it is permanent. That is it. The event is over. Once you do a hero swap, GT, that is it. It is done. Isn't there a Google Play for PC? I've tried a couple ones, Bobo, and some of them didn't work very well, which again was kind of tough. So yeah, there we go. SI50, E100, Rimuru. Elvin is going all in for the new heroes that are coming. But like I said, even looking here, Dragon's Gift, and I wanted to pick this one up. Challenge 50 times. Boom. There we go. Another free copy of Hilduin. Now we know coming down the pipeline, we have 3 more. That is right. 3 more copies of Hilduin are still coming down the pipeline. And if you get those 3 additional copies, even right here with the Ascended, you can pick up a 4th additional copy out of here. Now, I went in and I picked up all the copies of Hilduin. Some players are doing the insignias trying to get Gwen. I'm thinking that I am probably going to use this chest specifically to get the insignias to try to get some more copies of Gwen. That way I can take her up to Mythic Plus and then just kind of wait on Hilduin or build Hilduin naturally. Because once I get Hilduin up to the 1-star for the engraving, not really too worried about it. I want to get Gwen built up a little bit outside of there. I got 132 views and 32. Oh, thanks, Bobo. I already ascended because I thought we would only get a yes. So that's what a lot of players were saying, Death Power, is we didn't know, and we didn't know exactly how many copies we were going to be picking up of the hero himself. And again, we're still getting more. Now, remember, this is only the second part of what is coming. There is still another part within the Dragon IO that is going to be coming essentially probably next month, I'm assuming. That is going to give us, I believe, more in here. It's also going to give us more rewards in here from my understanding. So being able to come in here and build these out a little bit further just based on the heroes. Now, of course, as you can see, I bought all the insignias out. We still do have 13 days. I'm going to buy these out and just wait. So I'm going to pick up this one as well. And literally, once I buy these out, I am going to wait to see what heroes are coming and waiting essentially for the next hero release. We already have 20 of our Wormcrest Spire, or the scrolls right up here. I am going to wait to see, because the wish list, again, Cassius and looking at Pulina not really being used. Nyla is the one that you want to build. I'm saving my diamonds. I'm saving everything else to see what's coming down. And of course, we are still getting more copies as we can with insignias of Gwen to build her out in the entirety. Yeah, the Dragon Forge is still a nightmare, Harris. If you're not putting a ton of money into it, it's going to be incredibly tough. Yep, new dimensionals are coming on the 5th. And again, the 5th should be the global release of them. Within the next day or two, we should see them up on the test server, but that is when the global is coming. Let me pop open some of these stones. And again, with the reset for the new week, we want to finish out some of these. So we have 4 elite stones. Boom. Look at that. It is the meatball, guys. It is Mizoth. Now, Mizoth, I have never summoned. He is a hero that literally I've never summoned. I have never built. We already have him, I believe, at Legendary Plus just from regular pulls. We have been getting quite a few of the regular pulls. Now, this chest I am also saving right now. You can see we have 21 of these. I don't know who I want to build, because any of these that I pick, I already have essentially enough copies of. They're already ascended. And if I get, let's say, a Shamira or an Athalia, it'll be literally the only copy I have. Now, I thought about doing Belinda. And the reason being, when it comes to our rickety cart, which we know is going to be updated pretty soon. So looking here is if I wanted to pull and if I wanted to build an Awakened Hero, I already have 1 copy of Belinda. If I pick up a second copy of the Awakened version of Belinda, I just need 1 more and I can actually go in here and swap, which is going to be kind of cool. Judging off the leaks, do you guys think the new dimensionals will be meta? User, I would say yes. And the reason being, when we start looking back at what heroes we have seen, look at Rem and Amelia. If this is any indicator for where the heroes are going to be used, if the heroes are going to be meta at all, they are absolutely 100% both meta heroes that we've seen. And again, even looking at Ainz and Albedo, yes, for their time, they were 100% meta. Looking at Joker and Queen, not really as meta. I feel like AFK Arena at this point has kind of streamlined the heroes for utility. And again, it seems like they've gotten a little bit better. Might have taken them 5 years, but it seems like they're not releasing a lot of heroes that have 0 utility, which is pretty cool to see. Mr. Hippo, early stream. Yeah, what's going on, Jay? Thanks for joining us. I've met Mizalth at Legendary in 1 copy. Yeah, only the stones. That is it. Not really, since you'll get them after 60 days. Karma, you get them at 53 days. So the 60 days are the entire ones. Yeah, all anime dimension heroes, just like what they said. That is, they have been pretty much dominating. Let me hop in here. Wishlist, of course, has our new villain hero in here. And I'm not too worried about the summons itself, having all of the core heroes. If we pull anyone out of here, very cool. If we don't, not really too worried about it. If we get an awakened hero, that is just going to be a bonus. But a lot of players were asking why I don't save these. The chances of us getting a hero that we need from the wish list pretty low. And unfortunately in this one, we didn't get anybody, but we did get hero coins. We have 10 more days, and I'm going to finish out villain, adding that star on there. That way we can finish her out. Now, of course, 214 of our Stargazer scrolls, 817. Now, of course, with the awakened version of Entendre, we'll get about another 90, I believe is roughly what we get for our time emblems. So we'll be pushing 1,000 time emblems when Entendre comes out, which is going to be kind of crazy. Albedo is still best in slot dimensional hero for any kind. Yeah, Albedo is still really good. And that's going to be a question, is where is Albedo going to land based on her ability? And the reason for Albedo being so strong is not only the survival aspect of dimensional heroes, it is the buff. The attack rating of all dimensional heroes are increased by 20% for every dimensional hero that is in the formation. This, of course, is a massive, massive buff, which means if you don't have Albedo, Albedo is one that you want to have because, of course, Albedo being run in a lot of different formations still does have a lot of utility. I feel like Albedo is still going to be used in a lot of formations. Now, of course, these heroes are just a lot more food. We recycle these for our hero coins and continuing to go in there because, of course, looking in here, and I might actually reset the barracks. So we have 135,000. We have 15 days. Yeah, I'm going to reset this. I don't advise you to do this. This is something, guys, that I do not advise doing this, to go ahead and refresh. Now, the reason why I refresh is these stones I don't really need. I mean, probably 90%, if not more than 90% of heroes, we already do have built out, but I want these. I am looking for these in the entirety to go ahead and continue maxing out my Elder Tree, and we are close. As you can see right here, we have another 11 levels, guys, and the Elder Tree will be maxed out in its entirety. So it is absolutely getting there. It is almost maxed out. In GT, we have another subscriber. That is 3 subscribers, and we had some earlier super chats. So thank you guys for all the love and support for the channel. Yeah, 11 more levels, and this will be maxed out, which means when we start getting new heroes, we should have enough to kind of keep pace with this, or even get ahead of pace to where we're sitting on some Twisted Essence in here to build this out. So essentially, if we gain a level on the tree, we'll have enough Twisted Essence to build the rest of this out, which is what we're looking for. Hello from the Ukraine. Watch all your videos. Very useful. I have 5-star heroes in 1 copy. How can I sold this copy? So if you have excess copies, there's nothing you can do with them. So what we do with our excess copies is use them for food. There's nothing you can do with them short of there. So even looking here, we have this copy of Peggy right here. You can't sell them back, but I can take a copy of Hogan. We can use right here Movis, and then we can use Peggy, and boom, Peggy now becomes food because it includes Peggy. This is a way to build up a lot of the newer heroes. Even if you have some of the other heroes where, hey, if you're leveling up, let's say Vika or another hero, you can use copies, because even here, I'll take a copy of Sabius. We'll use Granite, we'll use Brutus. It'll say, hey, these 2 are ascended heroes. They're already at 5 stars. The excess copies just get consumed as food. And then, of course, when I go into the rickety cart, I can sacrifice copies, excess copies that I have in there. Can we see your Temple Rift? Sure, Primo. Yeah, guys, it's an open book. If you want to see something in here, Temple Rift right now, we are going through Fountain of Time. So Temple Rift, I believe, I don't know if I pushed any more this week. We're at 4 teams right now. Looking at the teams, and I shared these before, these are the exact same ones that I have from the video. So if we go in here and challenge, I'll just go ahead and challenge, show you my teams. So this one, we are running the Brutus. Now, of course, this is Liberta and Lucilla. And then we do have, again, Slumbering Seal being used in a lot of different places. Second one I use is, of course, the Awakened version of Belinda. We're running triple support. We have the Panda Dumpty up here, which, of course, provides crowd control. We have Ivan in here for a buffer. This is a really strong team. In the third one, we are running Rem and Amelia. Rem and Amelia really, really strong together. In my fourth team, we are running Chimera. Chimera, again, we're running triple. As you can see, we have 4 support heroes in here because the only one you're worried about in here is the awakened version of Chimera. Also running the Savage Souffle in here for some crowd control. Works incredibly well. It's kind of a slow burn through here. And then, of course, looking in the Temporal Beacon, since I do buy stuff in AFK Arena, I have more essence than most players. But going in here, I don't build out anything here. These are all zeros. I did put 1 into these because, again, we have access contributions because they come from the feedback. So right in the feedback, you can see we claimed these first 4, which gave us a lot more of the essence out of here to get a few more resources. But again, we're kind of waiting in there. I haven't pushed this week. It's pretty easy when I'm going through there. I can make some pretty solid progression. And of course, peaks of time and a couple other places are just popping up because, again, I had to reset everything that we had. And of course, this game mode coming soon. Even with these, they haven't done anything with them for an extended amount of time, which is unfortunate. I feel like some of it is just kind of a missed opportunity, really, for a lot of it. It's better to use 5-star heroes because they can't be recycled. What do you mean, Peter? If the new Mauler Awakened is weak, is Solus, Baden, or Brutus worth summoning? Out of those, Solus is being used and Baden is being used. The thing is, I don't know for how long, Bobo. So that's kind of something to keep in mind. What's going on, Jaffa? Thank you for joining us. That's something to keep in mind, Bobo, is I don't know how much longer, some of the awakened version of Solus or Brutus is going to be used. Baden is still being used in a lot of places, but ultimately Baden can go in there and you can go ahead and honestly borrow Baden. That's what I did for over a year. I think over a year from release originally. We borrowed Baden. Of course, there we go. Mr. Don did the sweep function. Get that done, making it very easy to go through there. And of course, that's going to give us some more resources out of here. And again, it is the accumulation of resources going to give us more resources out of here. Boom, picking up some more red chests, picking up some more diamonds right in there. And of course, picking up the cores. Now, make sure within the events, we know we do have the Mystic Star Zone is done. Heroes of Esprit is done. Make sure you attack for the Circus Tour. A lot of players forget this, and you cannot, guys, if you want to summon in here, you cannot forget the Circus Tour. I just go ahead and run this. I'm not even really too worried about it. Is there any news about the new ABAX? Not right now, Primo. I haven't seen really anything. Is Gavis being used a lot? PvP Gavis is being used. Usually with the Awakened version of Belinda is where we're seeing the hero being used. There's a new record. Look at that, guys. It's 1 million trillion, maybe trillion? 1 trillion damage in there, which again, not too worried about the formations in here. Not too worried. There's always players I know, especially in my guild, that are much, much stronger than I am at all, which means I can go in here. I can collect up both of these chests if it's going to let me do it. But as you can see, leaderboard, some of the players in here, even looking at the fortune chest, Virulin is just crushing it in there. And of course, looking at our Magician's Hat, we're at 275. This is a place you're going to get a ton of loot. And of course, when we look at the exchange, it's not worth getting any of the heroes. I have to tell you guys again, it's really not worth getting any of the heroes in here for the cost return that is really in there. Is the patch for auto battling out already? I believe it is coming. It's coming with the revamp that is coming. So the patch should be up on Tuesday. So tomorrow should be the patch notes. The changes and of course the entire layout of the game is going to be changing on Tuesday. How's your day going? Oh, it's going really well, JC. Getting ready for a soccer game here at 11:30. Our collection's better than all artifacts. Yes, they are absolutely. So the collections, guys, in the Ghoulish Gallery, they are better than any of the artifacts that we see. So essentially the collections, as much as a pain in the butt they are to get. And of course, most players are not getting any arcane staffs at this point, including myself. I think I might have gotten one. I got 6 out of a game mode. But again, looking in here to be able to draw the relics, they need to update this. It needs to change. There has to be something to be able to get arcane staffs on a regular basis. Because again, this is still kind of locked to the whales. If you're not buying your staffs out of here every single day for your 300 diamonds. You will never be able to summon anything in there at all, which again is pretty sad. Oh, what's going on? AFK Arena, free to play live. Thanks for joining us. Always better. Yeah, they give stats. It is very, very good. Yeah, Thorin is kind of the niche where we're still using Dura's Call. But again, that is kind of the one-off. I saved all of the magic cards to the end. Yeah, again, drop rates are changing, guys. It should be the next patch that we are seeing the probabilities for these change. Or, excuse me, the next patch doesn't have it. The one following it, which is going to be 1.44 or 0.144, is going to have all the probability changes, which, of course, is going to come in conjunction with the Awakened version of Entendre. So, again, we know what is coming down the pipeline. Just prep for it. Be ready. Get those cards at the ready because we know it is going to be coming. What is going on? Pull the trigger. And Jordan is here as well. Thank you guys for joining me. Mystic Star would be bad if it was a weekly event. Yes. JC, I agree with you. I feel like they could do a lot of changes when it comes to the Mystic Star Zone. And again, it's a way that is, they've made it a lot easier. So that is one thing to note is when it comes to the Star Zone, they've made it incredibly easy to go in here and really waiting to see what is coming. But going in here, you know, farming up some of the nodes, coming in here once or twice, it's pretty easy to get the loot out of here. They don't make it incredibly difficult like it was when we originally released it. Now, of course, Heroes of Espria, we're just north of 10,000. Now we need 12,100 to get up to the Legends level, which is what we've been kind of pushing, which a lot of players, I've actually been getting some defeats in here, but I've also been getting some players that are farming me up in rank. So I've been fighting some players and I've seen a victory. We're almost a star 1 right here. We still have 7 more days. I'm not too worried about pushing this. We've been making consistent progression every single day. And look at the LC tournament, guys. Required team, I don't know if you can see this in the bottom left. It requires 10 teams. When you think of PvP and it looks, oh, look at this. We qualified, guys. Look at this. But when you think of this, we got 3 wins right there. So we did qualify looking at our formations. And again, it is 10 teams now. If you're making 10 PvP teams with 10 beasts and 5 heroes on each team, so you need 50 heroes to go in here, it's kind of insane. It's incredible the amount that I go in here. And of course, guys, I don't PvP. I've said this forever. All of the games that I play, even looking at, you know, AFK Journey, I really don't PvP at all, which is kind of crazy. Yeah, Heroes of Espria is hard for new players. Yes, Harris. It is a grind because you don't have the heroes built. You can really go in there and farm where you can. Guys, just like most of the events, the higher that you score in the Heroes of Espria, the higher that you score in some of these events, the better it's going to perform, the more rewards you're going to get out of there. And that's really it, guys. It is the continuous, really, consumption. Let's go in here and look at this. I haven't done anything in the Dreamy Garden. Let's farm some of these up. Now, there is some... Now, we were talking about this. Now, when it comes to the Dreamy Garden, you're getting a lot of resources, and you're getting a lot of different resources for different aspects. You're getting some guild coins, some hero coins, everything else. A lot of players will save these. There's our arcane tokens. A lot of players will save these knowing, again, that the double dimensional heroes are coming. You have to manage your resources. That way you're not overspending or underspending for any of these heroes that we have in there. There's the treasure scramble. And then, of course, this gives us our chest of wishes. Very cool. Bountiful bounties, of course, getting some more resource out of there. Quicksand is done. The trial is done. We can even grab our trial version of the hero right here. But ultimately, we're just waiting for the update. We're waiting for the new heroes at this point. We have enough resources for anything. I'll probably sit on 10K in Heroes of Espria. Honestly, don't feel like going for Masters. So the big thing is when it comes to Heroes of Espria, it is a lot easier at the end. So what I mean by that is if you're not wanting to push all the way to Masters, wait until probably the last day or two. That is the time you want to push because at that point, a majority of the whales will already be into Masters. Now, of course, once you hit Masters, you can't drop down to Star. You can't drop down to any of the levels. So when it comes to pushing the Heroes of Espria, the last 2 days are very, very important. Because again, a majority of the whale players have already moved into the higher ones. If you win the Legends, do you get any rewards? No, you don't. You actually don't get any rewards out of here. You get a frame, which I have the frame, which is, these are the rewards. So you can see we do get some of these. But when you look at the frames, I think the road to glory, here's the frames. So as you can see, we've gotten this frame, reached the round of 8 in the LC, which I haven't gotten. And again, these kind of go, they have some pretty cool frames in here, but just like the animated avatars, just like the frames going through here, you can see if you're winning this, I mean, they have frames for PvP pretty much forever. But when you're going through here is you can only have one frame. And that, there you go. So 50 times, look at how awesome those frames look though. But again, if you're 78 times winning the LC tournament, really cool looking frame. But again, you can only have one frame on at a time, guys. You can have one frame. You can have one animated avatar. That is the big thing. You can only do one at a time. All right, guys. So before I forget, let me go ahead and let's do our membership gifting. We do the gifting of the memberships every single time, and I'm hoping this is going to work. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it wants to for whatever reason. I had actually issues with this last time. See, it's not letting me bring it up. It's not letting me bring up the gifting of the memberships. I don't know why it did this last time. There's been once or twice where it won't let me actually do it. Let me hop over and see if I can get into YouTube itself. Let me see if I can hop over here and actually get this to go in kind of as a viewer. And of course, it shows our live stream that is going on right now. Let me hop in here, mute this, because of course there's going to be some commercials that pop up. But I'm wondering if I can do the donation in here, which again, sometimes it's kind of weird that it doesn't want to do the gifting of the membership. So memberships, membership gifting, there we go. So gifting of the membership. Come on, is it going to work? I'm hoping. Again, I like doing this. I love doing this because that way I can give back to you guys, but I think that's going to work. It doesn't want to work in the chat. Usually it works in the chat, but that should pop up. And there it goes, guys. Gifting of the membership. We got it. And it goes out to Yoshi. Yoshi, I think, just literally joined us. I see Hey Hippo up there from Yoshi. Very, very cool, guys. There is the gifting of the membership. And again, we do the gifting of the membership every single time that we do these live streams. I love seeing when you guys chat. Jordan's got the hippo right out there. I see Kevin up there as well. It's very cool to see. Dusty's got it. Is seeing the little hippo next to your name. Not only when I see you guys in the live streams that we love to do, but also seeing them in the YouTube comments. I see the little hippos out there, which is really cool. So again, guys, we are just at the point where we're saving for everything that is coming. I've been pushing progression. We're in 63:38. Never ever did I think I would be in chapter 63, but we are going to continue making progression in here within the campaign. Then of course the towers. There is new updates that are coming in the towers. We're going to see some more floors. They're going to go ahead and nerf some of the other floors. These have been capped for an incredible amount of time. And then of course we're at 1200 plus, all except the Forgotten Necropolis. We're going to have to go in here and we're going to have to make some more progression in here. This one's a pain in the butt because most players use the Thorn Cheese. And there it is, guys. Number one right there. We have the Thorn Cheese. A lot of players do run the Thorn Cheese in here, which makes it incredibly difficult to go through here because the Thorn Cheese is very, very time consuming when we go through here. But we can auto battle. And again, looking at Lucky Soldier, it is the Thorn Cheese that is in there. And I got to turn on auto. Again, with the reset that we had to do, didn't have the ability. Let's see if we can continue. Sometimes Thorn Cheese is literally one time. And there we go, guys. We have another new subscriber. That is for, can we get one more? If you haven't subscribed to the channel, guys, we try to get 5 every time we do a live stream. And we are just south of, and there we go. We won that one without Thorin. That shows you the power of levels right there. But we are almost to 38,000 subscribers, which is crazy. Really, really crazy. I mean, higher than I ever expected this to be. Didn't even think I'd be doing YouTube for years later at this point, but it is so much fun. See you later, Harris. Have a good day. Never use the cheese. Don't like it. The cheese, ultimately, guys, it is what it is. It is a way to cheese. They should let us use at least 1 or 2 dimensionals for each team and the other towers. That would be cool, but I want to see a dimensional tower. We've talked about this forever, guys. When it comes to the dimensional tower, is it worth summoning Draconic Heroes? The only one really worth summoning is I would get Nyla. Only put Nyla in the wish list. If you want to make any progression within the Dragon Forge, you have to summon the Draconic Heroes. That is it. You have to have the Draconic Heroes. If you don't have the Draconic Heroes within that certain game mode, you are not going to make progression in there. And look at that. Gifted another membership. goes out to Trisha. Congratulations, Trisha. And thank you, Kevik, for gifting out that membership. That is amazing to see. Again, I love seeing all of the little hippos in there. It's really, really cool to see. I tried it in chat, and again, sometimes it doesn't work in chat. Sometimes it absolutely does. It's kind of weird. I don't know if it gets bugged out because I take chat out of the live stream. There's different ways that I do it so I can see what you guys are typing. That way I can stay on top of it and all the conversations we have. But all right, guys, so that is going to do it for today's live stream. Again, I have 30 minutes. I got to go get them all ready. We have to run out to our soccer game. We're right around the corner from it. So guys, thank you guys again so much for joining me on the live stream. This is something that we do every single week. We've done it a couple times with Journey. We also do it on my finance channel. Doing the live streams, being able to talk to you guys about AFK Arena is something I absolutely love to do because, of course, there's no one in my life that I get to talk about video games because I'm the only one. Even a majority of my friends don't play video games. This is the only time that I get to spend my time to go ahead. And there we go. There is number 5. Was that number 5 for the gifting of the membership? But again, guys, that is going to do it for our stream for tonight. So get ready for the heroes that are coming, all of the videos. And of course, we're going to have a lot of content that is coming around the 2 new heroes that are coming. Start watching the anime, guys. Check out the anime. It is very, very cool. As much as a person like me that doesn't watch anime at all, it was really cool to actually see it, some of them. And of course, to pronounce the names correctly. That is one of the big reasons. A lot of players were like, oh my God, he said the names correctly, which was kind of crazy. But yes, I watched some of the anime to know how to pronounce the names. Went over it with Veldora a bunch of different times, listening to Rimuru, Tempest, and of course, knowing exactly kind of the backstory of it was really cool. But again, guys, that is going to do it for our live stream. Thank you guys for joining us on the Sunday. Have a great weekend. A lot more content to come. And as always, thank you guys for watching.